So let's talk about the Indiana Fever's slowest start. They're at 2-4. I'm not gonna lie, I have not watched a single WNBA game quite yet because I'm watching the NBA, paying attention to the playoffs, the postseason. It's been really fun to watch with the OKC Thunder and the Pacers, meaning the NBA Finals. So I will watch more WNBA games when the season ends and give you more my analysis of the games. But I want to talk about their 2-4 start. I was just looking at some numbers, and a couple things really stood out to me. First off, the pace. I want to pull these stats up to you guys because I think, in my opinion, the Fever should be playing more in transition. Now you look where the Fever are ranked. They're 11th right now. They average 8.8 fast break points a game. The Liberty are at 16. They're an unbelievable team. Ionescu, all those players, Stewart, they're so good right now. And they're undefeated, and they play with great pace. Minnesota Lynx 4th. I love the Lynx as well. But just look at the Fever being 11th. I think they need to do a better job of playing in transition. Now, not having Clark right now doesn't help your offense because she's the one who initiates things. But I think if you're Stephanie White, you're looking at your slow start. She does stick to her game plan, so I've heard a lot. She doesn't try to change anything up. She needs to look at the roster and go, we need to play more pace and get better offense and easier looks for someone like Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hall, DeWanna Bonner, and so forth, and Caitlin Clark, of course. And that's the one thing that has stood out the most is like they're not playing with more pace. When they played in transition and they were playing more tempo, they got better looks. When they slowed it down under Chrissy Sides, the offense was just stagnant. A lot of dribble with Kelsey Mitchell. And we've seen that this year with Kelsey Mitchell, where she just dribbles it, takes a step back, and hopes it goes in. And that's not good offense, in my opinion. So the first thing that really stands out for me is just the lack of pace they're playing with. I think if they can get it to like 13 to 14 points, fast breaks, a night, I really believe that will help their offense. They won't struggle in the half court. Players are being more rhythm. So if Boss gets a couple easy layups, that gets her game going. Clark gets a couple of transition threes or layups, that gets her game going, and so forth. So that's one thing that has stood out to me. I want to talk about this. I was comparing their shooting from last year to this year. I want to point this out to you guys. So last year, I know the roster is a little bit different, but they shot 35.6% from three. They took 26 attempts. So just keep that in mind. This year, they're taking less 3-point attempts a game and shooting at 33.6. In today's era, the 3-point shot is one of the best shots out there because if you can do your driving kick game, you can get the defensive rotation, you can get really good looks out there. Now, Clark does need to shoot better from three. I know there's been some talks about the physicality and not giving her calls. I get all that. But still got to play better, in my opinion. And that's not a shot at Caitlin Clark. It's just, got to shoot better from the field. I think, again, if you're playing more pace and she's in rhythm, then you get better shots. So they're shooting worse from three this year. Kelsey Mitchell's not shooting as well from three this year. Lexi Hall's been good at 2.3 attempts a game. Now, Clark's averaging, I think she's averaging 19 points a game. So she's been solid. The assist to turnovers need to definitely come down. Still struggles with that, but I think as her game progresses, she'll get better at cleaning that up, controlling the ball, not turning it over, and taking care of things. But you get better as you adjust the speed of the game, and that will come over time for Caitlin. I think, again, the pace needs to get better for the Fever, and Stephanie White has to figure out these rotations because it's weird. You got Brianna Turner playing 6 minutes a night for 3 games played. She got to figure out her rotation, who she can trust, and keep those people in the lineup and know when to sub people out. And I also heard this about Stephanie White, and correct me if I'm wrong, that she really sticks to her game plan and she doesn't change it up. So if that's true, let me know in the comments. But if that's the case with Stephanie White, you have to make adjustments in game because if you're relying on, I heard that they were taking a lot of mid-range shots against the Connecticut Sun, and that's great and all, but you got some good shooters on this team. And in my opinion, I think the 3-point attempts need to be at like 24, 25 a night. And if you get more shots up and you're playing in transition at times, you get some open looks, you build a lead. I mean, they lost that game, I think by 2 points against the Sun. Imagine if they generated like five extra points in transition, they win that game, right? So those are just some of the things I have noticed about the Fever. And again, I'll be watching them more often as the NBA season is going to wind down. The finals are just going to be on. So I would make a better effort, try to make a better effort this weekend, catch some Fever games, and also other teams as well. I mean, obviously the Liberty won by 48 points. They handled the Sun tonight. This team is just amazing. The New York Liberty are unbelievable. Such a fun basketball team to watch. But if the Fever want to get to their level, then first off, Stephanie White has to figure out the rotations. And I'm not going to panic yet because, in my opinion, I like to see things played out. And we're only 6 games into the regular season. And just look at the Fever schedule coming up. You got the Mystics. I'm curious when Clark's going to come back. Hopefully it's soon. Got to go to Chicago. Got to go to Atlanta. New York on Saturday. That's gonna be a tough one. I know they lost them by 2 points. And we shall see how this plays out. You gotta go to Connecticut. I'm sorry, you're at home against Connecticut. So if they can survive this week and maybe go 2-2 or 3-1, that's a W. Because then what, you're 5-5 at that point. Some of these losses have been really bad. Not having Clark doesn't help. You know, you've lost 2 games without Clark already. So Stephanie White has a lot of challenges in front of her. But again, it's early in the regular season. You know, the season ends September 9th. You know, they got off to a bad start last year. They got off to a rough start. In case you all forgot, they started the year, it was 2-9. So again, it's a long season. I don't like to jump the gun prematurely, especially when we have new pieces on this team. I like to wait like 20 games. Maybe I'm crazy for saying that, but I just want to see how they look until All-Star break. If things aren't working out, then yeah, make some changes on the roster. But let's see how they look when Caitlin gets back. Let's see if Stephanie White grows as a coach and gets better. And if things are still not working out, then you reassess things. That's just how I look at basketball itself. I don't like to freak out right away, especially when they're still a young team like Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. It's their second year together. Lexi Hall, Kelsey Metro, their second year together. You just don't win championships overnight. You don't make deep playoff runs overnight. It doesn't happen that way. It happens organically. You know, it took the Denver Nuggets a long time for Jamal Murray and Jokic to break through, Tatum and Brown to break through. They had multiple playoff losses. If they decided to give up on that, you know, their core roster, they would never got to the mountaintop. So again, it's a process, and we just have to see things play out. Obviously, the investigation does not help because you got off to a bad start. You probably, you definitely turned off fans to start the regular season. But if you're still a hooper, if you still want, want to tune into Fever games, if you want to stop watching because Caitlin Clark's not playing, totally understand right now. I get it because a lot of people do watch for Caitlin Clark. I like to watch as a fan too because I like basketball. But everyone has their own preferences, and that's fine. So yeah, those are my thoughts about the Indiana Fever. Love to hear your thoughts about why they're struggling, and do you think they can turn things around? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And also, don't forget to share the video. Peace.